All right, all right. Good evening, everybody. You know what? I'm gonna hold on. I gotta open the stream up here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it right here. Sorry, I was just Instagramming live because, as you guys know, if you post something in Instagram, it doesn't necessarily show up in your feed in real time. It can actually show up like the next day, which is frustrating, I think, for people that are trying to announce what's going on. Imbor01, I saw you today. I saw you too. Thanks for taking time. Take my portfolio C2E2. Hello, everybody. WWII. Wildstorm CCG. Golf Boy Sunday. Hello. Angry Panda 888. Ren Elephant. Our first mod of the evening. Queen City Amusements. It's the regular guru. There's Poop Kid. Hey, PK. So, who do we have here? So far, we have Ren. So this is Ren. If you guys don't know who he is, he's one of our mods. Hey, Ink One, how are you? Good evening. I'm glad to see that no one else has anything going on Friday night. That you guys can join me here. I appreciate it. Quick Draw 13 from Australia. Speed Fresh. Traveling back. I was a bit of a zone on the flight back. Usually I get a really good sleep. And I did nap on the plane, but I don't know, it wasn't like a super satisfying nap. It was very short. Kind of passed out and I woke up. Hey, Kirihiko. Enlo from Germany. Guten Tag. And, and I got home and I don't know, I think I kind of took a nap. It's hard to say, I don't know. I was just kind of in funk. I don't know, jet lag funk. Anyway. Pandemus, I didn't really prepare for the stream. No nap or such. Look, we'll give you 5 minutes. Take a power nap and we'll wait for you. Kirihiko, this is the best, right? She's one of our mods, and before we start, I always kind of say something in Discord to the chat only thing, like who's going to be up, who's going to be available. She's like, "Oh no, I'm not going to be available. I'm going to be in Germany," and here she is. So always dependable. I don't know what the word dependable is in German, but immer viso. 8 in the morning here in Belgium. Fantastisch. Sehr gut. Welcome in, everybody. I missed you guys. It's been several days. But I wanted to get this stream in to get this piece done. This is this is a Batman metal piece. It is for the Lake Como Comics Festival. I believe most, or if not all, the artists are doing a piece that are going to be included in a portfolio set that all the attendees get. The tickets are on the pricier side, so I think this is one of the things you get to kind of offset that. Make it worth your time. Lutsch mein Schwanz. Oh, I don't think that's a good thing to say. Sounds very slang-like. I'm glad you're jet lag and I work tonight. Yeah. So it was interesting, as always, when I went to C2E2 and I signed this morning, and then 2 days ago I was at Graham Cracker Comics and signed there. A bunch of you guys came up and identified yourselves as Twitch viewers, or Twitch VOD viewers, or Twitch YouTube viewers, after the fact. And it's always heartening to see that people are enjoying it. Thank you very much for the cheers, Janelle. I appreciate it. Let me do a little housekeeping here before we start. This is more of a long form. I've got about 3 hours set aside. I should finish before 3 hours. But I always say that. I always say I'm going to be done, and so I'm not going to raise expectations there. I'll just say something like, if I barely finish this, I'll be happy, blah, blah, blah. But I know I'm going to finish. Anyway, Janelle, thank you very much for the cheers, dude. All the way from the Philippines. Final Grid has subscribed. Steel GNN has resubscribed for 3 months. Thanks for the support over time. Very appreciated. Most Interesting 17 has subscribed using Prime. This is the opportunity for us to really kind of share what the Prime membership is. If you are if you're new to this, you don't know what Twitch is, and you are an Amazon Prime member, not only do you get free 2-day shipping and access to the world's greatest entertainment movies, can't even sell it, music, movies, TV shows, but you also, and books, I believe. But you can also get one Twitch $5 sub membership. It doesn't cost you anything. It allows you to check out all the really cool channels on Twitch. And Twitch is not just for games. There are people, there are musicians, comedians, poker players, people that just stream what they're doing in real life, and creatives, people that work in the arts, people like comic book creators. So that's where you are right now. SSBM Quigs has subscribed, as has Spirit Warrior. Well, this is 007. This is days ago. So Adriano Art also cheered 4 days ago. I'm going to give him some post-cheering love. Appreciation. Jerry Gonzalez, Jerry N. Gonzalez has cheered as well. And Wolfie Poo has subscribed. Thank you, Wolfie Poo. Appreciate it. Is Wolfie Poo Wolfie? Is that Wolfie? I can't remember. I know you check out the stream every now and then. I don't know if that's the Wolfie. Can you identify yourself? Wolfie Poo? Or is he new? My mom has Prime. I should use her account to double my chances. Jabba Juju. Yeah, that would. Yeah. We could do that. Cirxian, hello. Sup, Cirx. Wolfie Poo is apparently still figuring out the interface because I've asked a question. No response. I know there's a bit of a lag, right? Ooh, I'm 9 minutes. I have 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left before I start drawing. I usually have like a 15-minute warm-up. Just let people get in. Ryan Benjamin has resubscribed for 2 months. Okay, first of all, Ryan Benjamin, fantastic comic book artist, also contributed and helped me out, thank God, on Immortal Men #1. So for all of you that love comic book art, please just do yourself a favor, click on Ryan Benjamin and follow that talented bastard. He's one of the first guys I actually hired at Wildstorm, fresh out of art school, I believe, in Florida. And he has been a mainstay of the studio and does some amazing stuff. And one of the nicest guys in the business. And yeah, one of the nicest and talented too. We've had a lot of ventures together, so please check it out. What does subbing do? Asks somebody whose name is so bright and green that I can't read on a white field. What does subbing do? Okay, for other streams, subbing just means that you're a big supporter, as far as I can tell. You get access to different emotes that you can throw up into the chat, and people find value in having virtual kind of benefits like that. But in this particular chat, there's a couple other things. We have a Discord channel. Discord's like a beefed up. It's a communications platform, mostly for gamers, but we use it as a forum, like a message board for people to communicate and talk about the stream in between the live streams. And so it really supplements what we're doing here. So if you go to that, you can go. You don't have to be a sub member to go, but you won't get access to a couple different things there. But if you're a sub member, you get access to scores of different channels and on the draw-alongs. I'll pull images from the sub draw-alongs and post them on social media. I also pull portfolios from sub members that send in their portfolios, and I will select them at random and do portfolio reviews. So there are some actual tangible benefits to it. And then on top of it, every Sunday stream, I do sort of a sketchathon. I draw different sketches. And every session, a different category of members or non-members are eligible to win a free sketch. So one session, everyone in chat, regardless of whether you sub or not, is eligible to win a sketch. And like I think some of the sketches, if you look at previous Instagram posts, they're fairly nice. I mean, they range from headshots to full figures. And then the next session, it gets elevated to people that are subbing at the $5, $10, or $25 level. And then the next session, only people that are subbing at the 10 and 25 are eligible. The next session, only people that sub at 25. So if you're a sub 25, you are eligible to win a free sketch each and every time. If you are not a sub member, you can win 1 out of every 4 streams, right? So those are real practical benefits to subbing. And yeah, that's it. But it's not mandatory, and I never want to get to that point. What is lame? What is lame? Hey, crispy egg roll. We have all 3. We have all. Who is crispy egg roll? I'll tell you. So crispy is our 3rd mod, and so we have all 4. Okay. We like to. I said we. I like to give shite to Crispy, but actually he's a very articulate, intelligent, if not highly motivated, organized fellow. So I will just say that. Having spent some real quality, real life time with all the mods, and have gotten to know them over time. All right, he's like Bizarro. He's like Bizarro Superman. Like when he says, "I hate you, Jim," it means I am passionately. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, okay. Matches Malone 87. Jim, I'm at Silicon Valley Comic Con this weekend. You should think about coming next year. Cool tech stuff infused into this con. Okay. You articulate. Me articulate am. How crispy like this gets articulate? I don't know what I'm saying. All right, that's it. That's enough for the. That's the comedy portion of the chat. Done. All right, Okiani. Okiani has resubscribed for 4 months. I love the stream. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciate it. Erndeko has subscribed as well. So Ryan Benjamin, I'm gonna go over and subscribe to your stream. Look at this, crispy egg roll. Resubscribe. 8 months solid. 9 months of sucking eggs and following the recipe. Just can't say thank you for all the work he has to go and just stick that shiv right underneath that 5th rib. Okay, the best part of the chat. Says Speed Fresh. I'll be the judge of that. Comedy portion. It was very, very sweet. It happened right at the 10-minute 27-second to 10-minute 32-second. That 5-second bit of a chuckle in the back of the throat. I heard it. You heard it. We all experienced it. Wolfie Poo. I asked you, Wolfie Poo, are you Wolfie? Are you a different Wolfie? Let me know. How do you sub? I believe there is a button near the bottom that you push. I don't know. Wilder 1251. Didn't know you had a live stream until someone mentioned you did. That, strangely, is the same experience that everyone else has had coming into the stream. It's weird how it works like that, right? Okay. And, there should be like an emote, like Jim is an ass. Like, it should flip up when I snarky like that. I should be more gentle and treat you guys with more love. Which I do. It's hard for me to show it. I'm Asian. It's not really in our genes. It's all like, come on, study, work harder, make me proud. Okay. I was just cruising IRL. That doesn't sound healthy. Creative one day and saw him and said, "What? Holy yeah, that's me." Where's the love? It's there. It's there. It's true. That's all I know. Yes. All right. Sub harder. There you go. That's awesome. Perhaps by. Did I ask Wolfie? And Wolfie Poo, I answered you. Yeah, Wolfie. What did you answer? Why do you? I have to go back and scroll through. Wolfie Poo, Wolfie Poo, Wolfie Poo, Wolfie Poo. He just puts weird emotes. That's not an answer, Wolfie Poo. Glad I sub for sure. Wolfie Poo still can't see a definitive answer. Is it possible to just say yes or no? I don't see an answer, Wolfie Poo. Please type yes or no. Different Wolfie. Perfect. All right, got it. All right. Am I a second gen Asian? No, dude. I am first. No, I'm not even first gen, I don't think. I think I'm half gen. I was born in Korea. This is my second language. I have learned this language at a. I was like 5 or 6. I had to learn all this. All this. Okay. You think I made those emotes? Come on. Let's be serious. Do you sketch on your plane rides? Hell no. I fall asleep, dude. Sketching on planes, if you want to like meet people, that's, yeah, you pull out a pad of paper and you draw things and people will start looking at what you're doing, for sure, because it's very boring on a plane. And if I'm drawing on an iPad, I will have literally people in the aisle, because if I'm on the aisle drawing on my iPad, I've noticed that if I stand up, there are literally 4 or 5 people down the aisle just like kind of watching over my shoulder as I'm doing pieces. I've had a lot of stewardesses come by and marvel at my talents. Not really. No. And actually on some flights, they actually have crew sketchbooks or crew guest books that they bring out to have prominent people, I guess, sign or something. So I've contributed a couple of those. So yeah, if you need that attention, that affirmation, that confirmation, that love from strangers in enclosed places, yeah, drawing in a plane will do it. So I don't. I sleep. All right. I do the anti. But really, you're a banana. Thank you, Golf Boy Sunday. I'll take that as like this amazing. I don't know what that means. I don't think I've learned enough. Crispy, you are correct. My English, sometimes I do have to struggle to find the correct word. And I do kind of wonder, well, what if I were born here? Like, could I have been a little more intelligent? Kind of broken on through. Anyway, 1.5. I'm 1.5. Yeah, I don't know. I was born in Korea and we moved here when I was 5. I had no choice in the matter. PK has what? You have 2. Book a Cobb Bomb and Poo Kid are one and the same. He's got 2. Hey, David Peterson. That was a fast Chicago trip from. I don't know. I left Friday, signed Friday night for 3 hours, Had some amazing deep dish pizza and toasted raviolis. And some dessert that was like a pile of ice cream with a big cookie underneath. And then Thursday we did a retailer presentation for about 250 diamond retailers. Kind of walked them through DC Zoom, DC Inc., DC Black Label, Sandman Universe, a lot of really amazing stuff. And then some more business meetings, and then this morning I signed for an hour, and then I went back to the airport. So it was short, yeah. It wasn't Giordano's, Ryan Rendell. I've had pizza at Giordano's before. It's a different place, but it was good. I like mixing up. Am I fluent in Korean? Hardly. So I've not only not gotten very good at English, I'm not very good in Korean either. I'm in that middle crispy zone where I'm just, yeah. Anyway. Does Asians say there's always better Asians? No, but my parents, like when I was growing up, they would go like, "Why can't you be more like Kenny down the street?" And he was another Asian that went to like Harvard, super smart, whatever. I don't bear any emotional scars. Weird question, but do your kids ever feel weird being half Asian? I think they feel weird being half white. I think they're very proud of being half Asian. I don't know, man. It's a weird thing to ask people. I don't think that's the reality. I don't think you know. God, I hope not. Daniel J. Bosco, I've lost my Italian, so I know how you feel. My Italian is actually much, much better than my Korean. And my German is even better than my Korean. So Korean is my worst language. I'm an embarrassment to my whole race. Because if you meet Koreans, they'll tell you that they can't comprehend the idea of someone being Korean and not being able to speak Korean. Right? They're one and the same. Being Korean means that you're able to speak. So it's not just a race. It's the ability to communicate in Korean. It's sort of like being Jewish. Like Jewish is like both a religion and a race, right? So for Korean, it's like being Korean is a racial thing. It's knowing the language and getting straight A's and going to Harvard. Those are all part of being Asian or Korean, and so if you can't do those, you're a failure. Anyway. I'm doing like this is like Asian therapy. Doctor No GMC has subscribed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ethnicity, not race. Okay, all right. Sketchbooks art. You win. Yeah. Parents try to raise you in the culture. I think most parents, certainly my parents and their parents, I think they raise you in the only way they know how. And I think it's only, I want to say my generation and generations thereafter that realize maybe that way isn't the best way and there are other ways. And so I would like to think that it started with my generation, but maybe every generation thinks that and then ultimately fails because we are so deeply defined by our culture and the way we were raised. Do your parents still want you to be a doctor? I'm sure they would be very happy if I somehow double majored in life and became a doctor and saved lives in my spare time while I was still drawing comic book. I'm sure they would actually get into that next level of pride. All right, Griffith has just subscribed. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to get a drink right around over here, and I'll be right back. and we can get this show on the road, as they like to say. I don't think anyone says that anymore, so I'm not even sure why I said that. I kind of want to rename this whole stream like the anachronistic expressions that are quickly dying off. Like twitch.tv/anachronistic expressions that are dying off quickly. Something like that. Something catchy rolls off your tongue like that. Anyway, be right back. Alright. What do we have? Whoa, whoa, whoa! That was not good. Oh my gosh. Alright. Lovely. Alright. Nothing but the best here, guys. Alright. Thank you for the cheers, Golf Boy Sunday. After your professional art career, please consider starting your mukbang channel. Is that the eating channel that's like popular in Korea? I believe it is, I want to say. Do you ever use a 3D printer to print your work? I have done a 3D sculpture. I created like a killer croc using, I want to say not Medium, maybe it was Medium, 3D software, virtual software. And then they printed it out using a 3D printer and then hand painted it. I have a 3D printer I got as a gift, a Christmas gift from my wife. It's in the garage. I do need to open it up. Jim, I'm going to ask you to stop dropping us thanks. Sick Neon. What do you mean by that? You mean for subscribing? Or for cheering? You don't want me to acknowledge that? Which Christmas? I think it was like 2 Christmases ago. Can you give some tips for managing your social life with your work life? Did you ever find a way to balance it out? I think life is, for some, I think that is life, right? Finding that balance. Thank you, Janella, for the cheers. Appreciate it. Is that what that guy's talking about? The thanking part? I don't know what he was referring to. Crispy, I'm gonna stretch this out. I'm gonna finish this sucker right now. How long has it been? 30 minutes? Okay, I'm way over my under 15. Do I ever spill any drinks or food on my drawings? No, I am a trained professional. Please, come on. Do you ever get depression sometimes as an artist? I can say I have never been. No, I've never been depressed in my life. I'm not. I was a psychology major, and sounds very trite to say this, but so if you study psychology, if you know anything about psychology, you will know that there are different schools of psychological study or schools of psychology, belief systems. Right, how humans behave. Right, they're the people, the biopsych majors. They're the parapsychologists. I think biopsychologists basically say everything's rooted in biology. Right, everything, all your emotion, thoughts, it's rooted in cellular activity. Neurons fire, chemicals are released, moods are created, and that because we're all made of cells and chemicals, one can control and understand human behavior through the study of these interactions and by applying medications and um, different kinds of biological stimuli or what have you. So that's one way of thinking about it. And then there are others that feel like, no, we're social beings. We are beings that like to socialize. It's hardwired into ourselves. A lot of our behavior is learned and understood through the interaction with other people. So those are social psychologists. And then there are the cognitive psychologists that kind of break down our behavior based on our senses and our cognitive abilities. And I think there's like one or two others. I don't know, but one of the other ones is I think it was called like self-actualization. If I can go off on this very long tangent. So it's the people that believe in self-actualization believe that we are responsible for our own actions. That it's not something like a Jungian or Freudian kind of belief system where they feel like your personality, your traits are determined at a very young age based on your interactions with oral stage, then an anal stage, and then how you feel towards your parents, your mother and your father, all this other stuff. So those people feel like based on those very early actions that we can't even remember, therein our personalities and our belief systems are created. And the people that are self-actualists believe like that's nonsense. We're all ultimately responsible for our own behavior, and we shouldn't. That we have control over our thoughts and our beliefs, and that we should be rational human beings. And so I'm more of that camp, which is basically don't blame others for your lot in life, and actually I think they're called bootstrap or something. Basically, you kind of pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Everyone taking notes? There's a quiz at the end. That you basically pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and that we're ultimately responsible for ourselves, and that's what I believe. So, and I understand that if you're truly depressed, that's not how it works. But for me, if I ever feel like something's not working out, I feel that I'm ultimately responsible for that, and that it's completely on me to fix it. And if it really bothers me that much, I will get it done. And if I don't get it done, or if I don't fix it, I guess I really didn't care that much about it. That's the way I look at it. I'm stuck in the anal stage. Yeah, I think it's called anal, isn't it? There's an oral stage and an anal stage. I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've studied psychology, but that's what I majored in. Yeah, see where an elephant knows. Yeah, I do remember something. All right, so at this point, look, it's mostly done. I'm just going to go in and add the details. I think it's weird because, and I think I shared this with you before, when I do something where I'm making it myself, I load a lot of the image in my own head of kind of like the end result of it. So obviously there's the pencil lines that serve as a template, but there's a lot of information I'm kind of storing in my head. Since it's been like 3 or 4 days since I worked on it, all that information that was in short-term memory is gone. So I have to kind of reacquaint myself with this piece and try to imagine what I was thinking about in terms of where black areas were going to go and white areas and what was going to be rendered, what wasn't. So I know that the Challenger Mountain was going to be here, and then I was going to do Gotham City, and then maybe some bombed out buildings here. And then maybe that there would be water. Okay, so that's that. That's wings. This is the Joker dragon, so I'm going to just erase some of this here. For an elephant, the order is oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. There you go. Fantastic. Yeah. So, so self-actualization, that, if you think about it, it actually was a very popular, trendy belief, I think around the 60s, right? The whole self-help movement, right? These gurus that basically would teach people how to reach their full potential, self-actualize. So, all these belief systems are very, very tied into what people feel about what's popular in during the times. I mean, Freud was big during the Victorian times, a time of great, I think, great depression, actually, and repression, and a lot of people unable to express how they truly felt. And so, so psychology is considered a soft science because there really is no way to prove this stuff. It's just what we believe, and you do experiments to kind of prove whether your belief system is right or wrong. But over the years, like everything, different belief systems come into popularity, in vogue, I guess. I think for the most part we're born with certain traits, and then others we learn through behavior, socialization, or through events, and they become hardwired into our psyches, depending on our biological state. And so I think some people are hardwired to be more sensitive, and others are hardwired to be more resilient. And so that's my all-encompassing answer that involves every sort of branch of psychology. That's the way I look at it. All right, you guys get all that? It's a little, like, at this point, you don't have to ever take a psychology class in college again. It's all there. Okay? It's the longest setup for. There's no punchline. That's it. Oh my God, crispy April. Oh my God. Janella, this piece is for Lake Como Comics Festival. It is sort of it's a different kind of business model. It's a more quote unquote exclusive experience. Fewer tickets sold, I think a maximum of 1,000, but at a higher price point. And the idea is that you have more FaceTime with the artist, and then you get a print. You get a set of prints, and this is my contribution to it. It's Batman from DC Metal. Freud or Jung? I'd have to go. I'm more Jungian, but even then, I'm not like. They're interesting from a intellectual standpoint. I think they're just very dated kind of concepts. I do like a good Briggs-Meyer test. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. That's one you could just Google and find online, but it kind of rates people on 4 different scales. So it measures whether you're more introverted or extroverted, whether you're more intuitive or sensory, whether you are more judgmental or thinking. And then the last axis, I think, is what is it? I don't know. There's one more, and so all these are kind of opposing kind of cognitive states, I guess, or emotional states or psychological states. And if you take this test, it'll give you like a 4-letter, like INGT or ENT ENTP or ENTJ or whatever. And then you can read up about, it's like a kind of fancy horoscope. It'll tell you all about your personality type. It'll tell you what percentage of the population that's taking these tests fall in that category, so you can see how common or rare your sort of Briggs-Meyer status or your state is. And then it kind of will indicate, like, these people tend to be good at these kinds of jobs. And so for those of you that don't know what you want to do in life and are looking for some direction from a test, some people use these at an early age to have people sort of do self-diagnoses and try to come to an understanding of who they are. Is it going to be raining this sketch? Yeah. Careful when Googling that test. One is a page hosted by Scientologists and they'll spam you and call you. I don't know. I've never... First thing you should do is Google Scientology scams on the internet. Do that first. And then after that, Google Nigerian prince scams on the internet. Make sure you are fully aware of those. I want you guys to be fully protected as you guys venture out into the internet wilderness on my behalf. Lost from CCG. I force myself to stay awake and it's getting harder and harder. Someone tell a joke. I don't know. Why do jokes keep people up? I think something scary would be tell me something very scary so I can't fall asleep. Oh, wow, crispy. Oh, low hanging fruit. Weak sauce. Delivered. Yeah. The government is coming to kill you. That's a scary story. Yeah, I don't know. Is it really the government? The government. Is the government that organized? Do we feel that the organization that's given us the DMV and the IRS, and I shouldn't speak poorly of the IRS. I shouldn't speak poorly of any of these government agencies. Yeah. I think it's interesting that we're fearful of outside agencies coming to destroy us when we freely are giving up. I think in a way we're I'm gonna get off the soapbox. I don't want to talk about this. It's like all these people are upset that Facebook's data mining all our like, we're freely giving everybody this information. I mean, it's all in there. Your emails are all read by Gmail. I mean, that's how they pick out the ads. I mean, I don't know why people are shocked by what's happening. I mean, the whole point of the internet is to just extract all that data. So we are freely giving them this information. So don't think for a second like, oh no, I wanted to keep everything private on the internet. Like, that's why you're putting up all your pictures of the lunches you're eating. And oh, okay, I'm gonna get off the soapbox. That got very dark. Has there ever been an origin story of Alfred in SAS? You know, I'll tell you, personally speaking, excuse me, I kind of like it better when Alfred was just a butler. You know? It's like all these shows where everyone has to have a superpower at some point. Can't he just be a butler? Isn't that good enough? Does he have to have been a badass to... I mean, I think they're looking to... He was a butler originally, but in recent years, it's like this desire to make him this badass, and everyone becomes a badass. Excuse me. Mary Poppins was a ninja, I understand. She was a member of the Hand, and before she became a nanny. Does it help for you to sketch with us as company? That's a loaded question. How do I say that without offending you? It helps and it distracts at the same time. How's that? That's my answer. Buchenred 1442 says, by the way, Jim, Snagglepuss book is very enjoyable this week. Hope there's more Hanna-Barbera books like this. Snagglepuss is amazing. Mark Russell is a fantastic writer. That book is like, it's a cross of Hanna-Barbera, silly talking dogs, and real life history. It's just fascinating how he kind of weaves the two together. It makes it really interesting. It's a look at, I think, 1950s America, and if these cartoon characters were actually real people with real life problems and hang-ups and foibles and secrets. Completely different than anything you would ever imagine being done with these characters. So, very cool. Once Alfred is a badass, former badass. I mean, he's like Liam Neeson at some point. Like he's driving the Batmobile. He's like, kicking everyone's ass, and I get it. I mean, I think I would probably do it that way too. But I'm just saying. Sometimes it's just nice for people to be butlers and have to live within those limitations or those realities. That's all I'm saying. Yak Snowman. Okay, 2 questions. I have to stop for this one. How old are you? And what do you think about Russia? Okay, Marcus Welb MD has resubscribed for 2 months. Thank you very much. Janelle has cheered, and he's got a long message. You want to know something scary? While I was drawing in my studio all by myself, I heard a psst from someone behind, and no one was there, and I saw some sort of shadow suddenly dashed through the door. True story, the thing I was drawing, a scary drawing at that time. Psst. Psst. Okay, Soto Him has resubscribed. Dana Earth has resubscribed as well. Loving the stream. Would love to see your take on Geralt from The Witcher sometime. And Perfect Tofu has resubscribed for 2 months. I love it. Been a long time fan. Will you be going to TwitchCon? I would like to. That would be kind of fun, right? Something very different. I would love there to be. I'm going to introduce a gardener for Wayne Manor, and they're going to be a secret magician, black occult magician that retired. That's what I'm thinking. But he uses flowers, different flowers to create different powers. That's what I'm thinking. Russell Heath, can I get a job as your butler? Of course, once you retire from the SAS. Of course. Wilder 1251, long story. I don't know. So I'm 53 years old. There's a lag in the chat. I'm 53. I will be 54 friggin' years old this year, man. Don't do it. Don't get old. Don't do it. Stay 16 forever. That's. Although I would rather be 54 than 16, just saying. But I think, yeah. I think the best age. You know, 38 to 42. That was pretty awesome. I would say 44. Something like that. But definitely not teenage years. You know, when you get a little bit of responsibility, some freedom, your kind of your earning powers kind of start to max out at 35 to 45. You're 78. Congratulations, that's awesome. Thank you, Booty Foe. Oh, that's a cute name. So then you asked, unless you're not having a great middle age, people say that you know, I don't know. I've got a lot of long answers tonight, man. So what do I think of Russia? That's like a big question. That's like, what do you think of the color green? I find it very pleasing on the eye. I've never been to Russia. But I have taken a college class about the Russian Revolution. I did read What Is to Be Done by Lenin. And some Marx. And it's interesting. And I know there's more to Russia than that. And I'm fascinated by the Battle of Stalingrad. The Romanov dynasty, the Russian Revolution. That's really, those are my thoughts. I don't know. Someday it would be lovely to visit. Yeah, that Stalingrad it's pretty crazy. There's a movie that was done. What was it called? It was it had it was about these two snipers. Oh gosh. It was a younger actor of the actor that played Voldemort. Ralph Fiennes' younger brother played a Russian or a Soviet political officer. It was Enemy at the Gates. That's right. Jude Law. And then. The German fella was not Eugene, something Harris. Ed Harris, that's it. And so if you watch that movie and you see these scenes, you go like, wow, that's crazy looking. And then if you look at the historical photos, I mean, they did a pretty good job of replicating they replicated it pretty well. That's what I'm trying to say. They were literally fighting over rubble by the end. And so I've read a couple of books about it. people ask me like what I read. I read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of war nonfiction, a lot of World War II nonfiction. There's an author named Anthony Beevor, and then Stephen Ambrose. So you guys might know Stephen Ambrose from Band of Brothers, which is an amazing miniseries on HBO. I'd heartily recommend it. But he wrote Citizen Soldier 2 as well, and Band of Brothers, and Story of the Airborne 101. And Anthony Beevor, he's written about D-Day, Battle of the Bulge, Stalingrad. And you read these things, it blows my mind because it just catalogs all the suffering, the human, the destruction, the loss of life. It's intense. There's nothing, we don't live anything, we have nothing to compare that to, and yet a whole generation of people live through this, and it so kind of shaped the world and the politics and everything thereafter. And now we live in a world where you can have conflict and war and still have, a life filled with YouTube and Twitch and all this other good stuff, and people are really kind of sheltered from what war really means, and yet people survived this, and humanity survived. And if you go to Stalingrad, which is, I think it's renamed Volgograd, it's rebuilt. All those cities that were completely destroyed in Germany and in Europe after World War II, they're all rebuilt. And I remember visiting them as a kid, as a teen, thinking like, oh, it survived the war, and you realize, no, those were all destroyed, and they were rebuilt to look like the originals. I mean, how they did it, I have no idea, but it's amazing how they did it. And so, but I mean, not just the number of people that died, but lice and gangrene and frostbite, and it's just crazy that people suffered through this, and humanity could figure out no other way to resolve their problems with one another except to go to war with millions of people fighting it, trying to kill one another. It's crazy. Man, what a pleasant Friday night stream, I have to say. You guys are really just can you teach us some Italian curse words? It has no meaning to me, but it is offensive to people that are Italian, so I don't just, I'm not one to just throw out curse words. But the worst thing you can say, as he says that, then he says, but the worst thing you can say, and I think it's funny because I'm like, really? That's the worst thing you can say? Is to say anything with dog after it. Alright? Kane. Not Kanye. Kane means dog, right? So you say like pig dog, that's bad. But the worst I think is like God dog. If you say that in Italian, right? It's very bad. Italians in the stream confirm? I'm waiting. So what's with dude? Do not, if I don't answer a question like, have you ever gotten Bucard's nodes on your fingers from drug? Don't keep please don't, just don't. The reason why I have seen it, the reason why I don't answer is I don't really have an answer. Like, what could it possibly matter? So crispy egg roll. I am Italian. Can confirm. Thanks, dude. All right. Good night, Waihi. I don't think there are any Italians in the stream. Cranberry grapes. Have you ever done hair? You'd be good at it. Meaning, like, if I were a hairdresser, I would talk to you while I was doing your hair. All right. Oh my God. Javon James, I'm going to have to ban you shortly. Faustus Bob has resubscribed for 2 months. So good. Thank you very much, man. Dana of Earth has cheered 500 bits. Do you ever stop and think about how crazy awesome your career has been, or are you kind of used to it? Angry Panda 888. Gotta go to bed. Have a good night. The sketch is going to be awesome. Good night, Angry Panda 888. So getting back to Dan of Earth, so the answer is a little bit of both, right? So a lot of great things have happened to me over the many, many decades, so you do become acclimated to it a bit, but I think it's dangerous to like take it for granted. So I'm very thankful of everything that's happened to me, the support I get from my fan base, the fact that the industry is still thriving. It's all really good stuff, and so I'm very thankful for that, and truly, truly thankful for it. But I think I'm most thankful for my family, above and beyond, because they've allowed me. They're the support system that allows me to do all this and travel and stream and draw crazy hours, and so it's all of the above, right? It's just human nature to become acclimated to things that we only. I am just like Mr. Explain It All. Fuck, I should just say, shut up. Anyway, we only understand change, right? If you're going fast at a constant speed, like we are on this earth that's spinning around, we don't notice the movement, right? Velocity in and of itself is not something we notice. It's acceleration and deceleration. It's the change in speed that we notice. So certainly when things... crispy egg roll. Keep taking your micro naps, dude. Right? It's the changes in your... Right? It's when you go from making no money to even 21,000 a year, which is what I made the first year in business. I was like, wow, I felt incredibly wealthy. It was awesome, having that kind of disposable income for the first time in my life. But then you get used to it, right? You start living up to that income level. And before you know it, it's like, oh, I'm broke. Gotta make more, so... Physics class, yes. I don't know, man. I paid attention in school, so I like to use what they taught me. I don't look at that information as like stuff that's important to know. I look at it as like potential life hacks. They taught me this about physics. How can I use this in real life? Because really, I have no need to figure out how volume changes as temperature increases, right? Right? PV equals nRT or some nonsense. But there's got to be some other uses for physics. Avogadro's number, you guys all remember that? Useless knowledge. I did it too. It was 4 years ago. I forgot almost everything. I'm jealous. What are you talking about? Physics class. Mr. Coffee 01. No, I don't care if people do recreations of old drawings. I hopefully out of all of this you can tell that I'm pretty laid back for the most part. Cranberry Graves has subscribed with a tier 1 sub. Thank you very much, Cranberry Graves. Appreciate it. Faustus Bob, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate it. As an engineer, there's no other uses for physics. Okay. Joshua Flower, 1979. Thank you for the streams in the middle of the night. I am a small time comic artist, and the only time I get to work is at night. Yeah, you know, I met someone at C2E2 that basically worked as a night security guard, and he said, like, I love your late night streams. Like, it makes the night go faster, and so I do appreciate the fact that people have different schedules. And if I stream during the day, during the week, I would think most people would be at a day job, and that would make it difficult for them to kind of check in with stream. But I've never really tested that out. Maybe one holiday break I will stream like every day during the week during normal business hours and see if that makes a difference. I'll tell you right now. Let's see. I guess I closed those windows. Did I? Oh no, here it is. Right now we have 481 people, and it's Friday night. Crazy weird hour. Thumbs in my chili. I work security at night. See? Bag of spaghetti. These streams are invaluable. Some of you have babies. No sleep. I remember that. I hear you. A lot of you should get one of those slings, you know, like those cloth wraps, and you just kind of slide the baby in there. It's supposed to mimic the feeling of being in the womb and being kind of held tight, and then you can just kind of walk around and kind of bounce and walk around, and that worked really well with our oldest daughter, and didn't work at all with the second. Some kids I could put in a car seat in a car and just drive around and they go to sleep. And others would cry instantly as soon as you got in a car. It didn't work at all. It annoyed them. So I recommend experimenting and trying lots of different techniques to figure out how to kind of bring comfort to your child. And never give up. Sometimes I'm on planes and I just see parents just letting their kids just cry it out. I'm like, I would never do that. I'm not saying I'm like the world's greatest parent, but like, you know, there's got to be something, right? They're crying out of distress. There's got to be something, some way of giving them relief. That's all. I'll go down. I will not go down without a fight. Never give up. Where do babies come from, Jim? Well, there are these things called ovaries, and the ovaries basically every other month release an egg. These eggs then travel down the fallopian tubes. There is a point at which these eggs become very fertile and receptive to being fertilized. Out of the male species, out of the testes, spermatozoa, or sperm is created. And cover your ears, superhero swimmer. Anyway. All right. Ren, continue the discussion. Ren's a nurse. He knows all this. Billions of sperm are released. They all swim towards the object. The first one in creates a impenetrable shell. Think about how crazy biology is that this can happen. And this actually makes me kind of religious. And I'm not a proselytizer, and I know that if you go online, you can debunk this theory, but it's the theory that life is too complicated to have occurred by random chance. And I don't know, man. It's not just too complicated, but it's just magical. You know? Big Boss 138, babies come from sex. Well, dude, yeah, if you want to cut to the end. Uh, uh, uh. Mickey G91, I want to thank you for all these live streams. I just signed on, so I'm behind the sperm talk. But I want to say thank you. Since you're new to the stream, we like to, we like to touch upon all different subjects. Oh my gosh. The human reproductive cycle is endlessly fascinating. Sure, why not? But think about it. Billions of sperm, one gets in, boom, instant protective shell, all the others are shut out. That's crazy. It feels like design to me. Someone designed it. That's all. All right, so I've drawn details of the city. It's all like up and down, left and right lines. But I'm gonna start throwing on like little shadows in between. And what that does is it just gives a little bit more volume, a little more depth. The trick is how much do you put in before it gets a little too. You want to keep the scale too, so you can't make any of the black shapes too large, or can you? I don't know. Yeah, would you rather talk about boots or the fallopian tubes? You tell me. Marco the artist. All right. Exactly. So think about even your vision, all right? Think about your vision. Think about your phone, all right? Think about this phone that has this amazing lens. And as amazing as the lens is with a number of number of megapixels and the ability to autofocus and HDR and all that goodness. Think about the human eye, okay? Oh my God, chat. I'm just going to go on about the human eye for 1 second, all right? The human eye is able to look at something that is completely bright and still see something that's completely dark. I mean, the ability, the eye is more powerful than this amazing computer that uses all this microprocessing power, and it still can accomplish the same thing the human eye can do, which is to basically look at something that has a lot of intense light and shadow and still make an image. And the ability to track things and see things, awareness, and process all the stimuli flooding into your eye, your optic nerve at once, dude, it's more powerful than an iPhone X. I mean, by far. I don't know, man. That just blows my mind if you really think about it. You know. The ability to see and recognize. Right? You can finally teach software now to maybe recognize people's faces now that phones can unlock. But human beings have been able to do that for centuries before computers were developed, which is to look at a face and go like, oh, that's Uncle Fred, that's Aunt Sue. And if you met someone that looked very much like Uncle Fred, you could still differentiate the two. I mean, I don't know, it's pretty impressive to me. Centuries. Thousands of years. Crispy egg roll. I don't know if they could recognize each other 1,000 years ago. Cavemen, I guess they could. I think it's dangerous to assume that every because people weren't as technologically advanced, they didn't have the same understanding of the world. I mean, they didn't have exactly the same understanding of the world as we do because of the ability technology has given us to understand so much of what's around us. But yeah, I'm sure people had the same feelings. But look, back then people didn't live as long either, too. So I'm sure that shaped everyone's kind of outlook on life in ways, right? Neon Bear just did the test. I am INTP, introverted, intuitive thinking, and perceptive, with an emphasis on T, I think. Now, the problem with that, Neon Bear, is that you took a shortened version. I think that an actual Briggs-Meyer test it takes a long time. But there's shortened ones online. Cavemen still exist today. Yeah, I think they're indigenous, what are they called? They're shut-off societies, like in the Amazon and stuff. Like they throw spears at helicopters that fly over their villages. They think they're like angry gods or something. Oh, Crispy. Living up to his bastard status. Cavemen 1,000 years ago. Alright, my historical timeline is faulty. What can I say? I need glasses for this. Okay. Bag of Spaghetti asks, what's the story behind your Tower Chronicles cover art? That was published by Legendary Comics. And the owner, or the guy that started it, that used to run it and own it, Thomas Tull, comics fan, former hedge fund manager, I think, that got into film production and investment. They invested in like The Dark Knight. They co-funded a lot of movies with co-financed a lot of movies with Warner Brothers, and so I had gotten to know Thomas over the years, and he asked me to do some covers for the Tower Chronicles. So that's how that happened. then he sold the company to a Chinese company, and so he is no longer with Legendary. But they're in the same building as DC. Different elevator banks. They got a suite office. They actually, well, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a chef that would cook meals in the office. Pretty nice. Bag of spaghetti, the chef is still there. Oh, fantastic. It's good to know. Hallie's 690. Dumb question. No question is dumb if you've looked at the other questions. Like scroll up, see what Crispy's talking about. Do you play board games? If so, what is your favorite at the time? I do play board game. I was a big time when I was in high school. It's technically not a board game, but I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. But I played a lot of TSR games. It was a company. It was no, not TSR was Dungeons and Dragons. Avalon Hill was the name of the company. It was a company based out of Maryland. They got bought up by, I think, Hasbro. I don't know, but they had a lot of. They're basically war simulation games, and they played on a hexagon grid, and they had different terrain, cities, and then you had like little cardboard units that represented either platoons, divisions, armies, what have you. It was like a way more complicated version of Risk. And so I used to play those games. Panzer Leader, Panzer Blitz, Third Reich, Operation Barbarossa. There's a lot of. I was really into World War II as a kid, in high school. I guess that's what they say. But then I also played, of course, like Monopoly. I'm a pretty good Monopoly player. I think I have the ultimate strategy in Stratego that cannot be beat. Absolutely the best. I think I basically, over the years, have refined a Stratego strategy that is unbeatable. I've yet to find someone that could beat me in that game. I'm pretty good Connect 4, and I play a lot of those games. Settlers of Catan, play that. That's pretty fun. The best strategy to win Monopoly is not to play it. Crispy's just a hater. I want to say I'm a pretty good Monopoly player, but I definitely overpay. I enjoy the wheeling, the dealing, the deal making that's involved in Monopoly. And I will give people a better deal just so I can kind of get the game rolling and get it to the point where people have monopolies, and I'll take my chances. So I will take a lot of risk on in that game. I'm a pretty risky Monopoly player. Then there are others that are more conservative. I enjoy Risk. I've been known to fly into Vegas to play in a regular Risk game, and then stay up pretty late and then fly back in the morning and go to work after getting like a couple hours sleep. Done that. So, yeah. But I've also gone to Vegas and gone out to a club like Tuesday night, with my wife, and then she sleeps in. I go to the airport, fly back to Burbank, go to work, and then after work is over, fly back and meet up with her again in Vegas. Done that before, but I was a lot younger. It's harder to do now. aren't they making a new version of Monopoly? I hope not. Good night, Wilder 1251. Oh, what, you gamble? No, I don't get. We'd go out. We'd go out to a club. It was like one night. I think that night I went out and I met. I was introduced to Mark Cuban. He was there. Random nightclub introduction. Middle of the night. Yeah. But yeah, it's rough waking up after a night out, and then going to work, and then coming back. Okay, so I've got the city mostly done there. I can work on this a bit down here. Was he a fan? No, he didn't know anything about comic books. Tony Guerra art, hi, hello. Superhero art, yes. I'm old, yes. Rub it in. Feel the dark side. Spirit Warrior 007 Superhero Swimmer, team me up on me. Alright, you punks, go for it. Why would I want to draw with my eyes closed? But sure, I've done it. Done everything. I was not on Shark Tank, no. Hello, Moglin. Alright, where are we at? Bobby D360 has resubscribed. Thank you very much. KDog64. My parents were teenagers during the Korean War. They left because Korea was a third world country, and they came here for the American dream. A better life. So my parents were the first of their extended families to come over. But then all my aunts and uncles came over in the following years. And so my whole extended family, I have no relatives at all in Korea. Until my now 19-year-old daughter decided to teach herself Korean, has moved over to Korea, and is going to a Korean university taught in Korean, and she's basically, I think, going to live in Korea. I mean, so she's gone back and basically reestablished the family connection to Korea. It's pretty trippy, dude. Nothing that I ever encouraged. So, kids, they'll always surprise you. But we're very proud of her. I mean, she did that really all on her own. I mean, first of all, learning a foreign language and then learning it well enough to be able to go to college and study in that language. It's no easy feat. So, as you can tell, I'm just going through and cleaning up lines. There's a lot of kind of ragged lines that were created by my inability to ink. And I used a brush to kind of just throw in some shadows very, very quickly. And the idea is to go in and kind of make them into more concrete shapes. The more concrete they are, the better they define the shadows that they are meant to represent. Sejadine. Thank you very much for the bits, man. I can't get over the fact that I can watch my favorite comic book artist draw my favorite hero. Thanks for years of joy. Thank you very much for the support and the cheers, the bits. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. Very generous. Yeah, you know, look, it's trippy to me too. I mean, in some ways, I find this to be a more intimate fan interaction than actually going to conventions. I mean, obviously, there's the physical side of meeting someone in person at a show, and you can't do that in this, but you can have a more extended discussion about reproduction, physics, Jungian, Briggs-Meyer, psychology, yeah. Whereas your interactions at a convention, the conversation can be a little stilted or not superficial, but it can be very, it can be short, it could be very brief, right? And is it true they eat dogs in Korea? I think they eat dogs in many parts of the world, yes, but it's not something that they serve at every restaurant, right? Superhero swimmer. Hey, isn't it past your bedtime, Clayton? Shouldn't you be? Shouldn't your parents be tucking you into bed at this point? Do I need to call Papa Clayton? Wow. Yeah. So it's a different kind of interaction. So, and what's nice about this is that I can do it from my house. You guys can do it from your house. You can all interact, and I can actually show you something I can't even show you at a panel at a convention. Like, I would never think about having a 3-hour panel and drawing a page in front of people. You know, panels at conventions are about like keeping it fairly snappy, in and out about 45 minutes. And what I like about Twitch in general is that it's from what I'm told, the longer you stream, the better off you are. The more views you get, the more the quicker you build your channel, I guess. The more frequent and the longer you stream, which to me seems kind of counterintuitive. I would think like the longer you stream, like the less special it feels when you do stream. You know, they tell me it's the opposite, and my experience so far has proven them right and me wrong. But I'll tell you, in many, I don't know if I could survive this and just talk about art all the time. I think I will get bored. So that's why I like to talk about other random or seemingly random subjects. I feel in some ways the only way I can remember the stuff I learned years ago is to kind of every now and then kind of habitually force myself to kind of vocalize these things. So with that in mind, we're not going to go through the Krebs cycle. If anyone wants to start us off, please. Have a good night, Jonella. Thank you very much for coming in. One of these days he'll talk about X-Men #1, LOL. That's boring. You can find all that stuff online. Just like Google Jim Lee, X-Men #1. There's a million interviews about it. Who wants to talk about that stuff? But the Krebs cycle, please, come on. How come you don't do YouTube live streams or Facebook Live? I've done Facebook Live. Go, Run Elephant, you go. You go. throw off some ATPs. The Joker 808. What is thy bidding, my master? Good night, Halsey 690. I'm glad we were able to kind of keep you entertained as you were trying to get your kid down. Eamon Winkle got work in the morning. Great steam. Great steam. All right. As always, Jim, good night. Good night, Eamon Winkle. So I have done some interviews, Facebook Live. Yeah, I don't know. And I've done, what was the other one that you had mentioned? YouTube Live. I am more, look, I've had a YouTube account forever and did nothing with it until I started Twitch and then realized that to save these streams I need to sort of cross-post onto YouTube to after the fact to kind of save them. So that's the only reason actually I'm on YouTube. Oh yeah, look at this. All these people that know something about the Krebs cycle. I just know I spent a lot of time memorizing that as a kid. When a kid in high school, I'm like, why? Why? Okay, let's make this into something here. Right, so this was just an outline and I threw in some shadows with the brush. And now I go in with a thin marker and I just kind of clean up all these shapes and just make them fill up. The blacks go up to the lines. So like coloring book, filling up, drawing up to the lines. And then maybe taking some of these shapes and abstracting them, giving me a little more of a hard edge. Which makes it them a little more of a graphical shape. Right, see that's kind of a squiggly line. It's more just random brush stroke, and then I'll go in and I'll go like that. I find that more pleasing to the eye. Marco the artist. I'm very grateful for these videos because man, I'm married and on a budget. LOL. Yeah, think about it. If I were teaching an online class, what would I teach for that course? What could I possibly charge for tuition? Of course, I would have to talk about X-Men #1, so that's why I'm not doing it. I'd actually have to teach something. Talk about relevant, relevant history. Jim, what do you think of The Last Jedi? I enjoyed it. Miles Manor, I've never heard of the Krebs cycle. Don't worry, no need to know what it is. Joe Man 307, what do you think makes learning more effective? A great teacher, i.e. not me. I think teaching, learning is all about the ability of the educator. All the subjects that I loved in high school and college, I would say, were because I had amazing teachers that taught them. So that's the secret. Unfortunately, there are some not so amazing teachers out there as well, but I give props to teachers in general. I think it's a tough job. Kind of thankless. I mean, I think it would be hard to kind of invest myself into a bunch of young kids' lives. Teach them all this stuff, you know, really stuff that they potentially benefit them and shape their lives forever if done properly. And then these kids leave and they cycle out of your grade. And then you're on to the next one. I mean, it could either be endlessly gratifying, but I would think it would be it would be like raising kids year in, year out and not really getting the full return of them being in your lives thereafter. And I know there's some people that are so close to their teachers they keep seeing them years after, and I do keep in contact with some of my teachers, but not since. But I'm very, very thankful for the ones I had that made a difference in my life, and there were many actually that were amazing at teaching all sorts of different subjects. What was your favorite school subject other than art? I was kind of a nerd in school, dude. I don't know if you could tell, but I enjoyed I enjoyed almost all of them. Calculus, German, physics. English was probably not my favorite subject, but I mean I did take like Shakespearean plays and whatever, and I found those. I really enjoyed reading. I'd say most of his plays, his comedies, tragedies, and histories were all pretty amazing. What other subjects? Strangely enough, the sciences were less interesting to me. I mean, it just, there's so much memory. It was just a grind, Just had to memorize everything. Loved history, particularly European history, less so American history. Just felt European history it was older and just had knights, had people fighting in armor, using shields and swords. I thought that was pretty cool. I was less into the gunfighter. European history is the best. Yeah, so I took that, I think that was sophomore year in high school. European history is just much more sweeping. It was just longer, and so there's bigger movements and I guess impact, and well, it really shaped, I think, Western civilization, sort of its culture and its its advances. America was really kind of I don't know what I want to call. America was really a throwback, not throwback. What am I trying to say? America was really not very advanced for a very long period of time. It wasn't until after World War II that it sort of became a superpower and rose to prominence. It's kind of a backwater country, I think. Right? Boonies. High tier scrub. Holy cow, when did Jim Lee have a Twitch channel? Since last September. Welcome in. Congrats, Drew Strecto, on your 2-year-old son playing soccer. That's pretty impressive that a 2-year-old can play soccer. copying from somewhere or just your brain? Huh? Where would I be copying from? What are you talking about? Look at my eyes. Are they looking elsewhere other than the stream chat? No, man. I've been doing this far too long to be like looking at something else while I draw. I mean, I'm just drawing off. Right now, I'm not even drawing, to be honest. It looks like drawing to you guys, but it's not really drawing. I'm just like, I'm creating textures. I'm creating values. I'm creating, right? Black, dark gray, light gray, and if this is black, then I got to make this darker down here too. So it's just really kind of adjusting line weights and values. Right? That's all I'm doing. It's going to take me a while to do this, but I mean, that's the difference between like a sketch and a finished piece. All right. And then if you look at all the texture that I'm doing over here, I got to be consistent and kind of bring it throughout the whole figure. All right. Why don't I like drawing Spider-Man? Asked Spidey Fan 1212. I think it's self-evident. The character's fine. I like the character. I like the stories. I like Peter Parker. I like Mary Jane. It's just the costume, man. It's all that webbing. You know? It's a pain. You should draw it. Try to replicate it. And then after you draw that, draw another one. Draw another one. Now imagine drawing a whole comic book where every single panel, webbing upon webbing upon webbing, like, wow. That's me crying. Janella, calling it a day, still recovering from my surgery. Had to remove kidney stones. Oh, that's painful, man. Thanks for sharing your talents with us. Good night, Jim. Good night, Janella. Sorry it took me 14 minutes to acknowledge your cheers and you're saying goodbye. But hope you have a good one. Old leaky pipes. Not sure I've ever seen a Jim Lee Spider-Man. Has it ever happened? Yeah. I've never drawn the comic book, but I've drawn him on covers and stuff like that. I've done pinups. If you Google Jim Lee Spider-Man, a bunch of images come up. I put one on Instagram. One was like just a headshot that was pretty recent. But then there's another one where he's on a wall, and I did that a long time ago. Over 10 years ago. Don't run from your fears, Jim. Do the webbing. I'm not fearful. It's just a pain in the ass. Life's too short. You know? Give me a character like this where I can just like spend hours just cross-hatching. Alright, you're right. Screw it. I'm drawing Spider-Man. Anything's better than having to noodle this leg for 18 hours. The best was arguing about those boots, man. Wow. Still thinking about it. 1 hour, 51 minutes. Thank you, Nightbot. Just got done smacking mayonnaise on myself. Life is good. Okay, I'll take your word for it. So as I keep kind of, if you notice, I'm like just going over the same areas with thin lines. It's slowly building up a gray value, and I'm building towards this white area, which is here and here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to have that be white, but I know that I have to white this out, that kind of smoke, whatever by effect created by the Kleenex got over here, so I have to white that out if I'm going to go with gray on top of it. Otherwise it's going to be an unclean sort of edge there. So in my head I know that if I go any further into this white area, I have to clean up this area over here first. I'm very, very close to that point. Question is, do I want this to be white? I know I want this to be white, but I might make that all gray. Although that's very effective, so I'm going to go in and add some white highlights at the end of the day. So, yeah, let me do that. Let me just clean it up a bit. I don't even know what that is. OHOTMU? F1 Flash, do you ever find the need to take a break from comic characters and draw something else? I draw things for my family, portraits, cartoon characters. I'm going to eat something, if you guys don't mind. Kirihiko, hello Kirihiko, welcome in, welcome back. Supernova. Yeah, what? This is a very dry sandwich. I will not be at LA Comic Con. Guten Appetit, danke schön. Uncrustables. Great, now I'm deaf? Is the chewing that loud? $22 vanilla cupcakes. Bonilla cupcakes. I've always been drawing. Psychology I just studied in college. Closer to the mic, please. Okay. No. 9. Oh, the wrapper. This. Extinction Agent. Hast deine Schwester die Zeichnung bekommen. I don't know. Bekommt. Hat deine Schwester die Zeichnung bekommt? Nein? Sie hat mir noch nicht geschrieben, dass sie die Zeichnung bekommen hat. Bekommen hat, that's right. Not bekommt. Bekommen hat, okay. Okay, verstanden. I'm just making up words. I have no idea what I just said. And I said, has his sister received the package yet? The drawing. He said, she has not yet written me that she has received the drawing. Very basic German. We could write in more complicated German in chat. Was ist los? I don't know if do Crustables go bad? I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Good night. Now let's all speak in German. Everyone put their comments into Google Translate. Nein. It's strawberry, Uncrustable. Hello, Tony Lewis 33. Big Boss 138 obviously has not lived till he's eaten a Crustable. Uh-oh. They do go bad? Du hast mich is a big song. I come to school with the moped. That's all the guy remembers. The cat is on the table. I am a man. I am a female man. I have no idea how one speaks German. Do I ever listen to Rammstein? I think I just told you. Du hast mich. That's it. That's my Rammstein. Rammstein! Ach du lieber Gott, das Uncrustable war wie scheiße. Ugh. Du hast Supermans Boot in die falsche Richtung gezogen. Falsch? Nein. Hi Brian Denham, how are you? Tony Lewis 33. Hello Jim. I showed myself right in a video in which you were next to Stanley drawing. That's the literal translation. Holy crap, your pronunciation is lovely. Thank you. It's really only if I have the ability to kind of expel it out. In real life, though, I kind of mumble, and so it doesn't quite sound as energetic. All right, so, all right. Wir müssen. Excuse me. Bitte überprüfen Sie mein Portfolio. I love it. Everything's in German. Fantastisch. Does your German have a Midwestern accent too? Yeah, it has a very bad American accent. I don't speak French, sorry. Wie war es, X-Men Number 1 zu zeichnen? Ich habe alles vergessen. Es tut mir leid. Alright. Okay. I should probably finish more of this. I think Crispy's checked out. We can speak freely about our Crispy stories now. Yeah. Jim Lee sued by entirety of Germany. First, we'll take over Jim's chat. Next, the entire world. Fantastisch. Less German, more drawing. Okay, got it. Jim, where did babies come from? Love it. Fantastic. Keep it going, guys. Keep it going. Jim, können Sie mir sagen, wie man in Gotham City? Can you say to me how someone in Gotham City? I feel like there's something missing, like a verb. Brian Denham. Brian, you don't really speak German, right? Du hast so viele Linien auf diesem Bein gezeichnet. Sie müssen den Gargoyle illustrieren. It's not a gargoyle. It's a Joker head. It's like a Joker dragon head. So yeah, this is mostly white though. So I do have to balance. Look, there's going to be a lot more rendering like this has to be brought up through all of this, and so I want to balance this with this first before I go up into there. Uh, we're not going to speak about that. Chunk style 3030. Superhero swimmer, ask your father. Thank you, Brutal 915. I hope that it meets your expectations. Sorry, Ren. Sorry, Ren. Ren, do you speak any Tagalog? Stray Meow. Thank you very much for the cheers. 300 bits means nothing in the amount of hours I've spent admiring your drawings. I appreciate your admiration. Thank you so much for your support and for being here and being in stream. Wolf McQueen has also subscribed. Thank you, Wolf McQueen. I don't. I don't speak that. Now every stream is German friendly. Danke schon, Spider-Fan 1212. Es gefällt mir, dass du meine Zeichnung... crap. Es gefällt mir, dass die Zeichnung gefällt dir. I think that's the correct way of saying it. So much. Someday, I will go to Germany and take a German language class for like 2 weeks on vacation. I think that's what it would take, like an intensive 2-week kind of just immerse yourself, only speak, read, write, whatever in German. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks is probably the most I could take off. I love Star Trek too. Raumschiff Enterprise. That's what it's called. I think they just call it Star Trek now, but back in the day they used to translate it to Spaceship Enterprise. Es freut mich, dass dir meine Zeichnung gefällt. Yeah, there you go. That sounds better. Gefällt. I have no idea. Bag of spaghetti. Why do hot dogs come in whole packages and hot dog bread in octopi? I don't know what open packages. I don't know what that means. Codes. What is this? Metal is over. Oh, this is Rammstein metal. Batman. I don't know what I'm saying. It's late. How funny would it be if everyone just spoke in German, so like anyone knew that was coming? Pumpkin. People would come in and like go, what's going on? Let's just try. Let's just try for a brief hot moment. Everyone speak in German so that if anyone new comes into the stream. Oh, packages of 8. I see. Oh, acht. Yeah, acht. I see, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it. Now I get it. Warum kommen Hotdogs in 10er Packungen und Hotdog-Brötchen in 8 Packungen? Packungen? I don't know. I don't know. That's good. Probably so that you have to keep buying more and more hot dogs and hot dog break. But why do hot dogs come in packages of 10 and hot dog buns come in packages of 8? Eine gute Frage, mein Freund. Good night, Queen City Amusements. Good night. Schlaf gut. Du hast mich. There you go. Yeah, I think Baliasa, that looks pretty good. I think if you put shorter sentences into Google Translate, it's fairly accurate. Chunkstyle 30, are you actually German? Because that's pretty good translate. Ich möchte Ihnen nur sagen, dass diese X-Men Comics, die Sie damals zurückzogen, eine tiefgreifende Wirkung auf mich als Kind hatten und Teil des Grundes sind, warum ich heute noch Comics lese. It's a tongue twister for me. I just want to say to you that these X-Men comics that you have drawn again, I guess, was a big reason why I was a big reason, had a big impact upon me as a kid, and is part of the reason why I read comics still today. Fantastisch. Danke sehr. Perfect Tommy, George Bergman's Guide to Life Drawing. You can buy it on Amazon. Ich bin auch kein Deutscher. NRZ Kane, I think, sure. I think, isn't that like an old phrase from back in the day? All right, thank you, F1 Flash, good night. Thank you, The Bat Force, for subscribing. Next stream, everyone talk Finnish? Sure, why not? It'll probably be Italian. Next stream will be in Italian, so you guys can practice now. We've been speaking in German because this is Batman Metal. I think of like German music. I think of Boney M, Genghis Khan, Rammstein. Heavy metal. I think. I don't know if Def Leppard was a German band. My Korean's horrible. I don't think I can handle it. Scorpions. Def Leppard was English. They just had that song like Guten Liebling Gau, whatever. It's kind of this made up German intro. Oh yeah. All right. We're only speaking German just to kind of amuse ourselves, honestly. Thank you, Primitive Lifeform. I appreciate it. The Bat Force has subscribed. I already said that, I think. I didn't know there was a video for Bat Metal, Extinction Agent. Wolf McQueen, thank you very much. Loving the streams. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate the support. The late night support. It's pretty cool. Tony Crust. Do you speak other languages other than German and English? So my German is really... I studied 8 years of German. That was a long time ago, though. In high school and college. Yeah, a long time ago. So I still have retained some of it. I studied about a year of Italian, so my Italian is, I can understand some of it, but I lived there for a year, and so I was able to learn quite a bit. But with both German and Italian, I mean, it's not like I use them every day, so over time, you just slowly forget everything. And then the last one is Korean, but my Korean is the least good, and by that I mean it's really not great at all. Chunk Style 3030. Are there other? I've met Alan Moore, of course. Are there other comics sort of heroes that I haven't met yet? I think I've met pretty much everyone at this point. I think. You know, a lot of the ones I regret not meeting are no longer with us, of course. And I've talked about it in other streams before. Beliasa, I'm observing you through my TV. We definitely live in the future. Fantastisch, sehr gut. I do not speak Korean at home. My parents speak Korean to me, but it's really basic Korean. Of course, I met Michael Turner. He was one of the new artists that was brought in through Image. I mean, he started at Top Cow, of course, but he was definitely part of that generation of artists like Jeff Scott Campbell and good night, Perfect Tommy. Yeah, Mike was a very charismatic person. And a real shame that he was taken from us at such a young age. Cranberry Graves, did you join Image when it started? Okay. Alchemist 1170 has subscribed. Thank you very much. Have I met Barry Windsor Smith? Yep, absolutely. Very talented guy. Dan S. I think that this print is going to be given away to people that buy tickets and attend the Lake Como Comics Festival in Italy. Majestic Navajo has subscribed 4 months in a row. Thank you very much. Life is good, man. No complaints. Chunk Style 33. I have lots of favorite characters. It's hard for me to narrow it down to just one. Jerry Gonzalez, this is going to be a black and white print. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's got to be. That's how I'm drawing it. Kathy Crow, have you ever gone to cons in Netherlands? Yes, I have. Back in the 90s. There was an outdoor comics festival in the streets of Amsterdam. And we did store signings in Amsterdam and a nearby town. I forget the name of it. But it's been a while since I've been there. This was, back in the 90s. Ohani hit another homer today. That's pretty amazing. Hello from China, JVS Dude 99. Jerry Gonzalez, Action Comics 1000 will be out 4/18. Utrecht? No, I think it was a small suburb of Amsterdam. TDK fan 718. It looks like you already inked in some of it, or did you start on a black sheet of paper? No, this started as a white sheet of paper. I started in a separate stream earlier this week, and the goal is to finish it in this stream. And I'm just slowly building up the gray values. I'm jumping around, but I kind of want to work on this for a bit, bring this more fully realized before I go in and kind of balance out all the grayscale, all the gray values. Chunk Style 3030. Does it piss you off that I am are always again asking you dumb questions using Google German? Ja, ein bisschen. Yeah. I was just joking. I thought we would just all use German just for variety's sake. I honestly don't know how Twitch streamers that just game, how they can do that day in and day out. I mean, I get it. Gaming is fun, and certainly when you're that age is fun. But the streaming and kind of interacting, maybe they just don't interact as much. But the interactions with the viewers, I think after a while, like, and that's why I think I was kind of enjoying watching some of Dr. Disrespect's the stuff I saw on like YouTube where he was trying out different things. He would team up with people that didn't know who he was, or he'd team up with like a little kid, or it was just, again, it's all about creating new content. And at the end of the day, even if you're streaming a game, I mean, you are creating content. So I think it's just, to me, it's a creative issue. Like, how do I keep myself engaged in this? I can't. Yeah. I don't know. Right? How many times can you talk about X-Men #1? The answer is you can't. But maybe you can talk about it in a foreign language. No, Chunksdale, I'm kidding. For those of you who are new, or actually, or old, I mean, half the stream I'm just messing with people. Again, you just have to keep yourself amused. So, don't take anything I say. Take it all with a grain of salt. We're just here to have a good time. Same thing in the Discord channel. I know Crispy's not here, but I thought he wrote a very articulate kind of response to some people that were just kind of going at it in Discord chat. It's just like, communicate, don't debate, right? Lift one another up, don't tear each other down. I thought that was pretty wise words coming from Crispy. He's not even here to hear it. I don't know. Have you many artists from SLG? I don't know what SLG is. KCat Per. As a new person here, I worry about asking questions you've been asked a billion times. First off, let me say that I think I've been asked every question, so don't worry. And if you're new, I'll cut you some slack. Don't worry. I'm not gonna jump on you and attack you for what you asked. But if you spam the same question over and over and you don't get a response, then I don't know. If I see the same question over and over and you don't get a response, it's probably for a reason, right? That's all. So that's the only kind of behavior I wish people wouldn't do. That's all. But you can ask anything you want. Slave labor graphics. So what was the question? Have I? Yeah, I know Dan. Back in the day. Huh? TDK fan 718. I forgot I'm a Playboy. What's going on? Oh, message deleted. I don't know what he asked. I think you can't put like links to things. I have no idea. There are rules to the chat. We appreciate it if you follow these rules. I'm not really not a real big hockey fan in general. It's probably the sport I'm least engaged with, I guess. I don't know why I'm double lining these teeth. I'm not hitting the exact same line, so it's almost like a 2-line around the tooth. I don't know if I'm just tired or just a little punchy, but I'm going with it. Alright, see what I'm saying? Like you can see 2 lines instead of 1 line. And I did that up here as well. And to me that's a graphical kind of decision. And by graphical I mean that it's not, if it were representational, it would be 1 line, right? You want to have 1 line that expresses the silhouette. Having 2 lines creates, it calls into question the line itself. The line no longer represents the outside of the tooth. The line itself is a graphical element. It's a visual element that is not entirely representative of the tooth itself. But visually it looks interesting, and that's why I'm keeping it there. And I'm thinking that when this is shrunk down, if it's shrunk down, it'll close up, meaning that the gap between the lines will shrink, and the mind will kind of close it anyway, and it'll read as teeth as opposed to the double line that represents a tooth. Very complicated answer, Jim. Castle Geek Skull. Hello, chat. Poop. Yes, it is an illusion. Alley Cat Comics. Sorry. Good night. I hope to get a full stream back in soon. All right. Same here. Pandemus. I don't see the double line. It's there. Trust me. Shorty Liz. I work at Staples Center, Microsoft. Haven't run into you there. But I did run into you at City Walk AMC and at WonderCon. That's a lot of times to run into someone just on random in a sort of interaction. Yeah, I occasionally go to basketball games at Staples Center or concerts. When's the next draw along? Probably in a week or so. This Sunday is the normal sketchathon, or as we like to call it, the Verber. No, what is it called? Kate and I had a name for it. Something Geschenken. I can't remember. The dragon kind is a feminine quality. It's a Joker dragon. That's why. Like it in the book itself, it's white with like red lips and like green hair and yellow eyes and stuff. So that's why. This has more of an illustrative? Feels more like an illustration than a typical comic book cover. In that it's almost like it's designed to be printed in black and white rather than be colored. So they're in the absence of colors, there's more gray tones that kind of indicate color. Kobe 33121 has hosted with 1 viewer and the Fizz with 6 viewers. Thank you guys. Clay Tortoise, can I ask how old you are? 22. That probably explains it. So it's hard. Most comic book artists don't start till they're in their 20s, early 20s, because precisely for that reason. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself because of your age. Give it a little time. If by the time you're 24 you're still unable to kind of sit and focus and put the time in, then I make you maybe reconsider your career choice maybe. But at 22 you should just be starting to kind of develop the patience and the ability to kind of sit for long periods of time and work on. I couldn't finish a whole page of art this size until I was about 21, 22. And even then it took a little time. So don't feel too bad. Joshua Flowers, 1979. I do. Good night, 22 Bunny Cupcakes. Have a good one. Uh, Drawless Gaming. I think it's a scene out of a series called Batman Metal. Should check it out. Written by Scott Snyder, drawn by Greg Capullo. The sixth and final issues, I think, on the stands this coming week. Meaning this Wednesday. It's out already. Okay, take it back. Thank you, Ren. I have my copies in the office. We get them early, so I'm always a little unsure exactly when it's out in stores. So I have my copy of Action 1000, but it's not in stores till April 18th. Shorty Liz, the frontal cortex hasn't fully developed until 25 years, so we don't really pay full attention to detail, right? That sounds like a legit answer to me, for sure. Dun, 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 dun. Tyler, I don't mean to be rude, but I think if you're saying basically you're at the very start of it, this is like this probably isn't the form to get the advice or information you're looking for. I would suggest just Googling it. You're gonna get much better results. You know, yeah. You know, if you're drawing from scratch and say I've got no experience at all, just Google like how to draw, and you'll find books, and that's where I would send you. How many hours have I put in this one picture? 7 maybe? 6, 7? I don't know. Chunk style, I'm intrigued as well. Excuse me. Kobe 31210. Will you come back in France this year? I'm going to be in France this Friday and Saturday. Good night, Jeremy. Appreciate you staying up and watching the stream. Paul V. draws. Typical cover takes anywhere from 5 to 7 hours. Sometimes more, sometimes less. This one's taking more because I'm putting a lot of line work into it because it's really being published as a black and white. Patman PH, this is not part of the Lake Como commissions, but it's part of the Lake Como. You get like prints, I think, of a selection of prints from the artists in attendance for the price of admission, and I think it's one of the prints that you'll get. And then I'll probably sell the original at the show. Tony Lowe's 33, your wife does have a point. I always felt slow because I assume you guys could whip out a cover in just 2 hours. Why? Why would you? It's you know, this whole question of like how long things take. It's always interesting to me how people really have two completely different reactions to the same answer. There's one group of people that feel like if you say, hey, this took 6 hours, they go like, wow, really? That long? And then there's another group of fans that basically go, wow, that fast? And it just really speaks to the fact of how you all, or how fans really perceive how long this work to take. But I can't imagine anyone doing any cover in 2 hours. I think the fastest would be like 4 hours, you know. To do anything, any kind of serious drawing at this size, 2 hours is just not a lot of time, you know. chunk style 30/30. If I gave it to you, I'd have to give it to everyone. Sorry. Good morning, Nolan Elric. It snowed again. It snowed in Chicago while I was there. It was crazy. Marker is. It's kaput. I have to get rid of it. Thanks for your service. You are out of here. Alright, I have another one. I bought a bunch of markers. A bunch of them. That's at 0.8. Let's see what happens with this. So with a cover like this, where it's all about textures and values and building up patterns upon patterns to create visual vibrancy and some bounce, it's just time. It's just time, you know. Drawing, balancing, adjusting, reacting. Adrian Delafou, 96. Thank you for resubscribing. Appreciate it. Pengustash has hosted. Yeah, Johnny, my art, I have an art rep that sells my original art. It's under website albertmoy.com, Moy, M-O-Y, so albertmoy, one word, .com. And you'll see a pretty wide selection of stuff that's out there. It's on the pricier side. I know there's issues. It's interesting when people kind of debate the merits of the pricing that they see for both original art and commissions and stuff. All I can say is that I think from the beginning of my career it's always been about selling less at a higher price versus selling more at a lower price. And with a lot of original art and commissions, you know, unfortunately there are flippers out there, and so even if you decided, hey, I want to give the fans a break and bring down the price, there will always be people that will come in and buy up their art and then basically just flip it at a higher price. So at the end of the day, you're just putting money in their pockets and kind of robbing yourself. So you have to be kind of aware of supply and demand, market forces, market prices. And that's the harsh reality of original art prices and commissions. So that's all I can say. Where Jim says I can't hear it, I don't know what that means. John Byrne, I'm not sure who John Byrne is. Are you talking about John Byrne? Byrne? McPepper Games, you can just Google it. You'll find information online. Good night, Predaking 1010-1. Or Predaking 10101. Very digital name. Thank you, Kate. Did you just make that? Did you just make that Nightbot? Paper Falcon 4. Jim streams have helped.
I lost the thread there. Can you phrase it another way?
I inadvertently launched.
I'm still not getting that. If you'd like some ideas for what else I can do, try saying, what can you...
That was weird. You can see I'm drawing through the rain here, but that's gonna I'm gonna go and basically add that in with white out at the end. Yeah, so Immortal Men is a new book that I co-created with James Tynan the Fourth. I draw most of the first issue. I'm only contributing the first issue. I did the covers for the first 4 issues. But at the end of the day, I'm working on a different project right now, top secret. and had to kind of make a choice of what to work on. And but I was very proud of what I was able to create with James. I think we have some fun stuff in there. And Ryan Benjamin, who was here earlier in chat, he's taken over the book. He's doing an exemplary. Can't even say the word. He's doing a fantastic job of drawing the book, and we're very grateful to have him as part of the team. So, I think the plan from day one was always to kind of launch with some of our top talent, and then bring in our veterans to make sure the books stayed on track and had the quality of some of our top talent on them. Exemplary. I'm not saying it right. Exemplary. There's the word. DC does not have an in-house studio. They never did, actually. No, I only did the first 4 covers. I only worked on the first issue, and even then I didn't draw the whole first issue, so wanted to manage your expectations. Can you get a hint at the secret? No, I'm sorry. Unfortunately not. Mr. Chinke, thank you very much. The hot dog joint in LA is fantastic. Kimchi hot dogs, fantastic. So good. Big Boss 138. I need a comic with a long run of Jim Lee art as well. Kind of missing having that. I can't speak to it other than I'm working on something. Johnny Numbers. Supernova, it's Ryan Benjamin, as I explained. He was here in chat a bit earlier. Hello from the Czech Republic. How are you? Man, I thought I could finish this tonight, but we're already past the 2 o'clock mark. Call it a night, and that I feel it's like 5 o'clock. No, it's 4 o'clock in Chicago. And I was up pretty late last night. I was up till 5 o'clock Chicago time. I get pretty bad jet lag, even when I just travel short distances of 3 to 4 hours. So I can feel it, and I don't want to get too messed up on my sleep cycle here. So I'm going to finish up this chin right here and then call it a night. I want to thank the mods, Kirihiko and Renelephant and Crispy Eggroll, who was here earlier, for modding this kind of impromptu Friday night sessions. And I want to thank all the people that have tuned in tonight and watched the stream from all around the world. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me company and asking me all sorts of questions and allow me to ramble on about psychology, physics, the Krebs cycle, fertility, and whatever else. And also conduct part of the chat in German. I think that was a high point for me. Achievement unlocked, as they say. And tomorrow is our son's birthday. It's Mason's birthday, so I will be taking the day off and doing celebratory things with him. And then I will be back, I think, Sunday at 9:30, a little earlier. I'm going to stream from like 9:30 to noon or so for the normal Sketchathon giveaway and silent auction. So check that out. Set your calendars, your alarm clocks, whatever. And I appreciate you guys again tuning in. It's always a pleasure. And for those of you who are at conventions, thank you for staying up, and have a great show tomorrow. And those of you who just stayed up, thank you very much, and hope you get some rest. All right. Have a good night, and I will see you soon. As far as this piece, I'll probably just finish it up on my own at some point and just post the results. But you can see it's mostly there. It'd be interesting if you note what's here versus here. I'm gonna turn it this way. All I have to do is see this or this. I have to put all these kinds of lines in here, make that pretty gray. I gotta then take these values and bring it into the arm and the chest, and then I could probably have to make his forehead bigger there. I have to clean this up a little bit. I have to white out some of this and clean this up. Take the black off this mountain here, right? Kind of pull that into the foreground, not foreground, but right. Do that kind of stuff. Probably bring this up off the. Right, that kind of thing. And just play around with those shadows, both to make it look like smoke. I have a little bit of his collar here that's like the smoke, and so I got to play around with that and make it look like a collar, but also like smoke at the same time. I'm going to go in here and use whiteout to basically sort of pull the hair through like this, and that'll look a lot cleaner and cooler at the end of the day. But you can kind of get an inkling of what that's going to look like. So when you see the final piece that I post, you'll see me kind of act upon all the things I just described to you. All right? Cool? We good? Almost done? Almost done. All right, guys. Have a good night. Cheers.